Want me to sit closer to him?
No, you're fine. I set it up perfect.
Okay.
Okay, and you're.
All right. So I am Josh Jordan. This is Dr. Connie Fish, and this is our interview. All right. So first question I have for you is, what drew you to teaching?
Well, that's really probably not the most positive question you could have asked me. It really speaks to my age. I didn't want to be a nurse.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't see a lot of options, 50 years ago, which shows my age as a female. And so I knew I didn't want to be a nurse. So I decided to be a teacher.
Okay, that works. All right, so then what is your ideal classroom like? If you could have a classroom any way you wanted it.
It wouldn't look like most classrooms.
It wouldn't look like most classrooms. What would it look like then?
It would look more like somebody's living room with lots of interesting things in it. Obviously, it would depend on the grade level, whether it was, elementary school, high school, or college, or graduate school. But I have always believed in kids learning in small groups and adults learning in small groups, and so it would be something that made that happen, and where it wasn't, where people didn't feel confined to, they have to sit in a nice little straight row.
Right, right.
I don't think I'd been teaching very long when it dawned on me one day, when a student, it was a third grade student, was wandering around, and I was teaching in the library because I was teaching pull-out gifted kids. So I had multiple grades, and we didn't have a typical classroom, and he's wandering around, pulling books off the shelf, putting books back on the shelf while we're having the discussion with about 8 or 10 kids, and every once in a while I'd call on him and he'd answer me, and then he'd keep doing what he was doing, and I remember walking away that day and going, why did I make kids sit in chairs? If I yelled at him to sit down, he would have been hard to deal with, but because I allowed him to do what he needed to do, guess what? He still was engaged.
That works.
So, does that answer your question about environment for teaching?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. Okay, so with that in mind, I think I might have an answer for this, but do you tend, I know these next two questions are kind of extreme, and I know you're probably going to be mixed, but we'll go with them. Do you tend to focus on individual creativity or collaborative work in your classrooms or your classes?
Both.
Both?
I think when you look at what is known about what people need to learn in the workplace, it's important that we teach people how to work together collaboratively to accomplish a task. Because often I find in my career that a lot of people don't come prepared to do that. They just want to either tell you what to do or let you do it.
Right.
And we haven't taught the skills of collaboration. But I also believe very highly in the creativity part, that people, there's so many ways for everyone to demonstrate what they learn. Why are we limiting it so much?
Right.
And I would, if I were now teaching at any K-12 level, I would be very hard-pressed to make kids write very many papers, as an example. Because I think there's other ways for them to demonstrate their learning. And that doesn't mean there aren't times when you have to prove you can write a formal paper. But do you have to do it 100 times to prove it?
All right, all right. And then this one's another kind of extreme one. Do you believe learning comes more from within the student, or do you believe more in teacher guiding?
I don't believe in either one exclusively.
Okay.
I believe that most people are curious. They don't know what to do with that curiosity. Other kids are so engaged in their curiosity they can't be bothered by a teacher because they will learn in spite of the teacher. But I think some kids don't know how to spark that in themselves, and I think that they need a teacher to help them be curious and give them reasons to be curious about something.
Fair enough. All right, and finally, in your opinion, what is the role of a teacher in the classroom?
I think there are times when the teacher has to be the center of the classroom, but I think most of the time the teacher should be the guide to learning, not the person telling them what they're supposed to learn.
Okay.
And I believe that just as strongly for adults as I do children.
Fair enough. Thank you very much.
You're
And
welcome.
that's the end of my questions.